Imagine a new Nerf blaster is released and you're kind of indifferent about it until about 10 months later it shows up in a video game you've been playing and suddenly you are influenced to buy it because of that gameplay. That's influence that Hasbro wishes they thought of.
Oh my god, that'd be funny. Damn it.
Strong arm.
Ow, ow.
Hello, man.
I'm on his team.
Oh, never mind.
Dang it. No! I'll cover you.
What are you gonna do?
I fell. It's an honor.
Local zombies are teleporting into your dimension.
Oh, there's 2 of them in here. 3, they're all in here.
Trust this.
Yeah, they have the walls.
Doom
Here they come, here they
I'm
come,
the
main
Marauder,
entrance.
everyone else is Doomslayer.
Been standing there the whole time.
He hasn't died.
No, he's still there. He's perfect.
Let's keep
aim.
the. Oh no!
I'm just running through.
We lost one, boys.
Right, if I beat you at anywhere, I will not put it.
Hello everyone, my name is Brett, and sometimes I wear a beret, and today we are talking about the Shellstrike. This blaster was released in early 2020, even if it feels like that was a completely different year. It was actually released in this year, and I was, as mentioned before, pretty indifferent about it when I first saw its release. I thought, I have something that already does that. I have heavily invested in the Sledgefire shell platform, and this wasn't something that I was looking to get. I didn't get a trilogy, and I probably wasn't going to get a Shellstrike. Until, as also mentioned, I saw it in Nerf FPS on Roblox, and I started using it, and specifically in the zombies mode, I found that I was having a lot of fun with a triple shot blaster. And so here I am. Now I have one. I went out and bought one from Walmart, and then I found a lot of the shell reload packs at Ross because they are being clearanced off. This blaster itself is 15 United States dollars, and the shell packs are being clearanced from $5 to $4 each a pack. So let's talk first, why did I wait so long on this blaster? If you see in my little Beret logo, you'll know I do love the Sledgefire. I have had a Sledgefire for the longest time, ever since it came out. I think I owned at least 4 at the height of my Sledgefire collection. And in that time, I also picked up more shells when they were selling them kind of scarcely on Hasbro's website, to now have just under 40 official Sledgefire shells. But the worst part, of course, about the Sledgefire was they never made another blaster work with those shells. So they single-handedly destroyed that blaster. A few years later, they came out with the trilogy, and that did take shells, but to everyone's disappointment, it was a new type of shell. This shell, to be specific, so they're not interchangeable, which was a major bummer. But upon release of the Shellstrike, suddenly there were 2 blasters that took these shells, and well, that was at least kind of nice. And now by having shell packs officially in stores, that means that they are not immediately killing off this line, though I hope this is not where it ends. I'd love to see another shell-fed blaster. But anyhow, the Shellstrike was a different offering because this was the first pistol shotgun. It's a very compact blaster, much smaller than the Sledgefire in terms of at least length, and of course, much smaller than the trilogy in almost every single way. Small grip, but it works well for my hand. I actually really like this, even though it's thin and small. My hand fits over it quite well. The bottom offers 2 slots for storing shells, which is nice, even though it only comes with 2. On the other side, we have the release up top, where you can load a shell, load like so, close it up, prime in the back, and fire. Hit the latch, flip it over, put your finger through the front, and then just drop it out. So it takes a little bit more to get that out, and then obviously you have to load another one in, click it into place, close it up, and the prime on the back. Otherwise you won't actually be able to operate the thing. So there's that. A little bit different, but not the end of the world. It's cumbersome because it's a shell-fed pistol, whatever. But it works, and it works okay. It's not super powerful. I kind of wish there was a little bit more power out of this. I've seen some internals and maybe I can modify it a tad to make it better, but as it stands right now, this is not a performer. What it does offer though are some things that the Sledgefire and the Trilogy haven't before. I like that this right here is flush, so you can actually just pick up some darts and front load it. So if you do happen to lose all your shells except one, you just leave that in there and you can front load. But you can also just load 1 or 2 or 3. The Smart AR inside of the blaster, like the Sledgefire, I think like the Trilogy, means that you can do that if you only have a few darts. And with only 1 dart loaded, you are going to get a little better performance. In testing it really quickly, I found that a single shot out of this might get you about 60 FPS, which is obviously lower, but with 3 shots, you're definitely getting a lot lower. So I wish there was more power, and sometimes this top will become dislodged if you're just front loading them in like that. There, you see it? You'll try to fire it like this, and it'll make a nice clang because you have to push it back down. And I'm always wondering if that is actually fully sealed, but I think it's okay. I've tried firing it with like putting my hand to close it fully, and it didn't seem to make any huge performance changes. Are these shells any better, any worse than Sledgefire shells? I wish I had a Sledgefire shell with me to compare right now, but here's what I will say. I don't love them the same way that I like Sledgefire shells. They're obviously bulkier, so I feel like for every 3 Sledgefire shells, I could maybe get 2 in the same space of the Trilogy or Shellstrike shells. Effective dart length that's actually being sealed inside this shell is like 1/2 inch, so it's only this back section, which is kind of questionable. Maybe that's one reason that they don't get as great performance. If you unscrew the back, you will find that the 2 sections come apart, and I just dropped the screw, which is great. This part is all hollow, and I would assume there is no effective dart seal there. They're just gonna fall right through. Yeah, great. Meanwhile, the back half seats these darts. So, fun fact. Now, obviously this one, of course I grabbed that one. This one, I also did a quick peg removal. Little pegs in the back just to guide the elite darts a little bit better. And you can quickly remove them, which is nice, which means that you can load half darts into these shells if you would like, with minimal modification. And I found that the performance on those was nothing more really than the 60 FPS out of like 1 barrel. Unfortunately, what you'll also find if you try to load 2 half darts in each barrel after that 1 modification is that the front will just fall out if you tilt it over, so that probably won't be effective for you. So you'd probably have to, say, brass each slot. I don't know how effective that's going to be or how much that's going to be worth your time and money. I understand why they changed it maybe to fit in the Trilogy, just because they are a lot smoother than the Sledgefire shells, so I'm not too concerned about these breaking, but they, can you hear that? They sound just a lot more hollow, and that's because they kind of are. I wish they'd stuck to the previous version, but I understand that they may have changed this just to be a little more user-friendly, because yeah, these feel fine, and it's pretty easy to load them. Let's see, if I do one-handed and I try to kind of gravity throw it up, I can't because this piece just wants to fall backwards and the shell is still locked in place. So yeah, unfortunately, this really is a 2-hand removal. Not that you don't need 2 hands to then reload it, but I also wish that I could kind of yeet this out a little more like I see in the game, because I can't reload that fast and it makes me sad. For $15 and that being 2 shells included with the blaster, I don't know if it's worth that per se. Perhaps if it's on sale, I would call it a better buy, but 15 is not a completely unreasonable price. It's just hard when you only get 2 shells. The shell refill packs, I think, are actually reasonably charged. They're similar to what I remember the previous Sledgefire packs were being, the expansion packs were being sold as, online only. I went in for it. I said, here we go. Here we are now. I have bitten the next shell packs because they were at Ross for $4 each, and there were like 9 of them. So I bought 4. Whoever wants to go back for the other 5, go right ahead. Also give you the little rail piece, which is nice. That is the only thing that you really need to attach to the rail on the bottom, even if that's kind of awkward for where your hand might be or how you use this and you come around a corner and you just knock a few off. It's not all just like one style of plastic too. These are a little more grippy. If you want to buy more shells, you can, and I like that they have those out there. Again, please make more blasters that take these shells so my investment is worthwhile. Or at least go and buy a flak from Captain Slug with the Shellstrike shell attachment portion or the chambering method, because that's the only other blaster I know that really plays with these nicely right now. So those are my opinions on the Shellstrike. Again, it is not a huge performer and it does take shells, so for some that already counts it out. But I think that this is a decent pickup if it's what you're looking for. I am not offended by the existence of this blaster compared to Elite 2.0. Do more of this. This is fun. I don't care that it's not like the highest performer on the battlefield. I would use it in a game, not just because people tell me to use it. I would use it just for the shell gimmick alone. Part of me is always going to be sad that I've seen them do this arguably a little bit better with the Sledgefire, and it's not like, oh, we did that in the 90s and some people liked it, but hey, here's something new. No, that was less than a decade ago, and then they decided to completely change course and make the new trilogy in the Shellstrike. Again, this does offer some differences like front loading the blaster, which is nice, and it's super tiny, but I'll always have a special place in my heart for the Sledgefire, and it's probably going to be a little bit higher than the Shellstrike, but this is the cheapest option on the market as well, so I won't hold it too much against the Shellstrike. If you have one, let me know. If you have a lot of shells for it, let me know. I'd love to know who has started the shell arms race and how much you've invested in that. Shellstrike DS6, the Dart DS, Nintendo DS, dual shot, double shot, D3 shot, deceptive shot. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you later.